Tippy time, my damies, and welcome to episode 48 of Reviewedly Interrupted. This episode, Brian Yuzna's classic weird body horror epic, Society. All right, well, let's go over the physical media aspect first. That's right, I'm a gilf. Coffee. All right, so this is the Arrow release. I do believe that there's an all regions version. I got this one specifically because it was region B, only because I had just previously finally got an all regions player so I could branch out and watch more stuff, especially Arrow releases, which a lot of them are region B, and they come out with some killer shit. Like down the road when I do the Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, I got their little edition. It's amazing. And this is their Society, and it doesn't really have a lot of stuff. You can see the reversible artwork, a lot of things are doing that with the newly commissioned artwork and everything, which I think is pretty cool because it's kind of like an updated dealio. But I'm just nostalgic, so I always flip it around and got that put it on the original. And yeah, I was really happy to get this one. I heard a lot of people talking about it in some movie groups, and I had never seen it. And I was like, okay, this sounds like one of those ones where it's like a must-see, and since I'm a collector, must-have. And I'm a big fan of Brian Yuzna, the shit he did with Stuart Gordon, and then just his own shit. He's a great horror director. Let's see, so some of the special features on here, I'll talk about what came with it, since this doesn't have a lot of little extras and cool stuff. Some editions will have posters and little books and all this other goofy shit. But it's got some good shit on here as far as special features, like audio commentary with Yuzna, Governor of Society, a brand new interview with him. Masters of the Hunt, a brand new featurette including interviews with the stars Billy Warlock, Devin Vasquez, shut up, Ben Meyerson, and Tim Bartel. The Champion of the Shunt, new featurette with effects artists Screaming Mad George, David Grasso, and Nick Benson. That'd be pretty fucking cool. And a 2014 Q&A with Yuzna recorded at Celluloid Screams Festival. I would love to make it to one of these horror festivals. That would be pretty sweet. And then Brian Yuzna in conversation backstage at the Society world premiere, which would be pretty interesting to see. That's his premiere of his film and everything. To see it would be kind of cool to me anyway. Of course, theatrical trailer, Persecution Mania, Screaming Mad George music video. I'm wondering if that's Sodom's Persecution Mania. That would be pretty cool, and so it's got some cool special features, which I will get into more later and kind of get in depth with them. But that's what came with this this lovely edition and everything. So now I'm gonna go. I've watched it a couple times so far, and I'm gonna go watch it again, and then we will talk about this weird just fun movie that just gets so grotesquely body horror weird. It's really cool, and it has a lot to say, and we will talk about that. So yeah, now I'm gonna go watch Society. So in a little bit, I'll be back in a little bit. See, that's getting bigger, but I'm staying the same size. How do I even do that? Movie magic, people. Society. Well. Society. This movie is really great. I mean, it came out in 1989, and it's totally got that late 80s horror movie look and feel, which is one of my faves. I'm there's some good new horror coming out, but this classic shit, really good. And one thing I'm going to say about it is okay, now I was watching Hellraiser earlier, and I've only seen it on like DVD. You know, like I have a DVD copy I watched a bunch of times, and then I finally upgraded to Blu-ray, and I could really tell the difference right away. This is one though I've never seen except for on Blu-ray, so I've only seen it in lovely high def. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about this. The teenager Bill Whitney, little Billy William, Bill William. He was bewildered by everything going on in his life. One thing I think, like, I'm not sure if it's because he was coming close to 18 or what the deal was, but I mean, he's lived with these motherfuckers obviously his whole life. That's what I infer. And yet all of a sudden now he's starting to realize that there's something off about his family. One of those 80 things where it's like they don't explain that shit at all. We just get thrown in the middle of the story, and it's like, here you go. Let's go for this ride, which is a real fun thing where it's not like this big old, like, you see a lot of movies, especially like some newer ones will do that shit where it's like, they'll give like, oh, okay, some kind of build up to where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, or flashbacks to let us know like, oh, okay, so maybe there were signs and he didn't know and this and that. Back in the day, they would just throw you right in the middle of the shit and say, here you go along for the ride. And Society is one of those movies that does that shit, and it's a fun ride. I mean, it's fucking nuts. Like, I could, watching the special features, especially with the audio commentaries and interviews and everything else, of course I will get more of an idea of exactly the intent behind the movie. But I mean, from just watching it and everything, of course you can infer that it's a take on actual American society back in the 80s, and especially these days. Of course, it's like, you know, the 80s was a very decadent time, you know, pretty wild and everything. And so like a take on the whole society thing where it's like these rich and powerful, like feeding and consuming and using the lower class, poor, everything else, you know, using them as fodder and food just for their own amusement and everything else. You know, it's like, it's a big statement. And it's like, you know, if you take a look behind the curtain of what's really going on in the world, I'm not gonna go off forever on this. You know, I'm gonna get into the movie, but it's like, you know, I mean, it's a big statement. You know, I mean, look on the back here. It is a matter of good breeding, really. You know, and it's like, it talks about that multiple times in the movie. And, you know, it's the way how a lot of people feel that are in, like, you know, the middle and lower classes and everything. And to be honest, if you take a look behind the curtain, it is kind of reality, not to this gross body morphing extent, but, you know, the rich and powerful running shit. It's almost like we're little marionettes, and they're pulling us on this. They're pulling our strings and stuff. But we're not gonna get on. I'm not gonna get into a big old long like diatribe about that kind of shit, because that's for something else. But like, you know, in this, after, you know, I watch the special features, I'll see if that was the true intent of what this is trying to. Well, it says on here, packing stomach-churning guru and thought-provoking social commentary in equal measure. Yeah, it's a biting horror satire. Yeah, I mean, it really is, because fucking A, man. Like, I've known for a long time, rich, powerful elite. They're running shit, and we're just like, most people don't pay attention and maybe don't care, especially these days. Things are crazy. Everything's expensive. Everything's go. You got to work your ass off just to break even or barely get by or just scrape by or whatever, you know, and everything from the media getting thrown at you and everything else you're so distracted by all the bullshit that is just, you're getting hammered with, that you're just kind of like, listen, all I'm going to worry about is just my little shit, and everything else, like, I don't have time for it, you know? And, but I mean, a lot of us just know. It's like, duh, of course. It's not like there's a bunch of poor people running things, making things happen. Of course, the rich and powerful elite, you know? And I do like the social commentary on this, mixed with like some real, just like some real funny humor, like the big culmination. Let's just get to it. Let's just get to it. The shunt, you know? Where basically, it in Brian Yuzna's own lovely, fascinating way, showing how the rich and powerful feed on the lower class, like literally, just consuming them, just eating them, sucking them dry, just using them up for their own amusement and whatever, you know, like. That's when it culminates in that scene. It's just like so fucking nuts. If you've never seen the movie Society, watch it, and I will say you've never seen anything like this. I mean, David Cronenberg is the fucking body horror master. Scanners, Videodrome, all that stuff. It's just like he does great body horror, Rabid, all that kind of stuff, right? This is like a total like circus sideshow body horror at the end there. It's just like some things you don't even know are body parts, and it looks like everything is fucking covered in KY, like everybody and everything. Fucking wild. Yeah, I got something stuck in my tooth there. I'm gonna. And Scott, let me get it. Give me a second. Got it. There. Okay, I'm back with you now. But like, I don't know, the cast of characters. It's like, let's start with old Bill. Old Billy. Bill Whitney. This kid. It's like, it's so funny because he's one of those characters where it's like, you either have like the somewhat aloof main protagonist that is like not quite sure something's going on, but he's trying to get to the bottom of it. And, you know, he's smart. So he's like figuring things out, but it's still like, because he doesn't know all the pieces, shit's like he's still having to evade all this like danger and everything. Then we have Bill. We have Bill who's starting to figure things out. And it's not like he's stupid, but he's not exactly smart. It's like, he's like, I don't trust this shit. I don't trust these people. Let me keep throwing myself in the middle of situations that are going to put me in danger. I get that it carries it along and adds like this thrilling horror element and everything else, but it's like he's piecing it together, but it seems like he's looking at the pieces and he's just like, I don't know, maybe I should just like go fuck around with these people some more. It's like, what are you doing, dude? Get the fuck out of there. But no, old Bill can't. Bill's a little headstrong. He's quite a headstrong young chap. Fucking great hair, though. I gotta say that, like, the hair in this movie, I can see why the one bitch wanted to eat hair, because there's so much gray hair in this movie. I mean, you just watch it and you'll be like, oh my god, great hair. Close your eyes, fast forward, count to 10, push stop, push play or whatever, and then open your eyes, and then you know what you're gonna see? You're gonna see some fucking great hair. That is a guarantee. That is a promise. If there's one thing I can say about the movie Society, it is chock full of great hair. They might as well just called it great hair, to be honest. It's really great. But I do like how it carries along. It's like, you watch other movies like this where it's like, I don't know, maybe the plot or the script, I would say the script, like really builds this tension. There's not really a lot of tension building, but the story carries along with what's going on. It's not a tense thriller horror. It's that's about the only way I can explain it like that, where it's like he's discovering pieces are falling into place. He's learning that more and more of these people are not quite what they seem and a part of some kind of secret cabal. But there's not a lot of like thrills and danger, you know. Well, danger for him, but like the thrilling edge of your seat, like no jump scares, nothing to really like make your heart pound. it's just a fun ride where it's just like all this little shit that pops up where you're just like, what the fuck? Especially at the end there when the shunt and the body morphing and all the weirdness and everything. When his dad becomes a literal butthead. That was funny as shit. The guy, when the, what is it? He's the doctor. When his head turns into the giant hand, well, I got a fucked up pinky because I kind of like severed some tendons, so it's like I gotta help it out like this. But we'll just do it with this hand, where it becomes like this big hand, almost doing like what is that? The horns, the sign of the evil eye, and then his arm comes out and doing the sign of the evil eye. You know, just the body morphing and it's funny. And then the joke he cracks later, where they're like the mom and dad are like, oh, we'll be down in a second. We're changing. And he says, into what? Haha. You know, it's just like that little one-liner right there was just pretty goddamn funny. And like Bill, this guy, like even when he finally has a chance to escape, runs into a group of people instead of away from the people. Picks a fight, can't fight, can take a punch like a motherfucker. I can tell you that. He's like, yeah, I'm going to fight you. And just gets his ass whooped until he pulls that guy inside out. FYI, I do include spoilers in this, but you got to watch it because you'll be like, what? It's seeing it that you're just like, oh my God. So it's like, I may drop some spoilers, but watching these movies is, you got to see it to believe it, to be honest. But like, yeah, the guy can't fight worth a damn. Picks a fight, gets his ass whooped. I've never seen a guy take so many punches and still be like, not knocked out at least once, and then just pull a guy inside out. And he's like, yeah. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? He was getting his ass whooped. And then he just does this one little thing. And then everybody's like, whoa, shit. Cracked me up. But yeah, Bill, take some karate lessons, boxing lessons, anything. I mean, it's cool you can take a punch, but like, that's going to fuck you up later on in life, Bill. That's going to fuck you up. That's going to fuck your head up. You're going to get concussions. It's going to cause brain damage. So you need to learn at least how to block or something, because holy shit, dude. And I thought it was funny when the judge, you know, he shunts that one guy and ends up getting a beauty mark on his face. That's pretty funny. But yeah, you know, as it goes along, it's like, and another thing about Bill's character, I'm talking a lot about Bill because he's the main protagonist, and it really revolves around him a lot. It doesn't really jump too much to like, this is what's going on with the other people. This movie could have been another half hour, 45 minutes long, like involving more about what's going on with the backstory, or not the backstory, but the story of the other characters that are in there. But keeping it, like cutting that out and just following him really does, like if you watch this movie for the first time, keep a nice little like hidden secret element to what the fuck's going on, which is kind of cool. But like, what was I getting at? I totally lost I started rambling and just fucking lost it. It's all good though. I like how the one guy was in here too, who played like one of the hillbilly kids in Pumpkinhead. And he's like one of the social elite kids, the one with the glasses on the debate team when you watch the movie. And you'd be like, oh shit, that's right. He was in fucking Pumpkinhead. And like, yeah, Bill's character, he keeps like, there's first the one guy's like, dude, you gotta hear this tape. And he plays the tape and he's listening to it. He's like, what the fuck? So what does Bill do instead of like, well, shit, man, you know something's going on. I felt like something was going on. You have evidence. Let's work together. He attacks the guy angrily and threatens to punch him in the face, takes his tape, and it's like he's pissed off at that guy. Like, look, I have evidence that there is something weird. Well, fuck you, bro. I'll beat you up and give me your tape. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? This guy could be on your side. His friend, like his best friend, he kind of like pushes him away, especially like when he's like, hey, no, there's this like, you know, light brown skin, dark haired chick that's like all up on my junk. I love you, pal. You're my bro, but I'm going to go get some poon instead. You know, he keeps like kind of pushing his best friend away. And his best friend, you know, is like, yeah, man, I was the one fucking with you, the shrunken head and all that other kind of shit. Cause he's just one of those kind of friends, busting balls and shit. And then he starts attacking me. He's like, what the fuck, dude? And it's like, what are you doing? And it's not until he says like, man, I'm your best friend when it suits you. And he's like, oh shit. It's like, yeah, dude, Bill, you're not a good friend. You're so wrapped up in yourself that even you're pushing your best friend away. So it's like he's a very flawed protagonist in ways that aren't so like outwardly flawed, like, oh, the detective that wants to catch this killer, but he's an alcoholic and he fucking his wife divorced him because he's a dick, he's got these troubles, or something like that. It's like where it's like blatant. It's like, no, you watch it and you see this character development with Bill where it's just like, he's very flawed because he just makes all these stupid choices. He can't fight with a damn and wants to fist fight. And it's like, it's especially like at one point where he's just like, I'm going to fight this guy. And he's surrounded by all of his friends. It's like, no, that is not the time to take on the guy. Like, even if this guy wasn't super tough, you don't try to fight a dude with all of his friends around because they are going to hop in too. That's going to happen. But like, and just pushing his best friend away. All these, he's very flawed. So it's kind of, as you're watching it, you're like, you want to like him, but there's also a part of you that's like, Bill, why are you so dumb, dude? Would you stop your shit and pull your head out of your ass? He never really does. I mean, kind of at the end there, but not totally. So it's like he's a very flawed protagonist in not a very outward way is what I'm trying to say, but he's still the protagonist, and it's just fun to, like, you don't see Billy Warlock. I don't see Billy Warlock in anything, but it seemed like back in the day, late 80s, 90s, Billy Warlock was in a ton of shit. You saw him all over the fucking place, and excuse me, that was a burp because I had some Stouffer's French bread pizzas and they made me burp. But yeah, I'm looking forward to, I haven't watched the special features on this yet. So it's going to be really cool to dig into this movie, and because it's a fun movie. It's a fun horror movie. It's a gross movie and it just makes you go, and it's a lot of fun. If you can stand like some gross body stuff. I mean, it's not super bloody. There's a couple like kind of good bloody scenes, but for the most part, it's just like the gross shunt. I will find out when I watch the special features probably why they call it the shunt. So I will learn that. Oh, another little thing. That fucking judge, man. I was like, I totally forgot, but when I saw it again, I was like, wait. I know that motherfucker. What was he in? He was in a horror movie. What was it? Friday the 13th Part 3, he was like that hobo bum guy that is laying out in the road, and they're like, dude, what the fuck? Don't run over. What, is he dead? And they're like, and he gets up and he's like, hey, man, he gave this to me. And it's supposed to be all 3D, and it's like the eyeball. He's that bum in Friday the 13th Part 3 laying in the road with the eyeball. And then he plays the judge in this, and that's pretty cool, and just constantly smoking that cigar. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those movies. If you're a fan of like Brian Yuzna's other films, I mean, like on Bride of Reanimator, he did Bride of Reanimator and Beyond Reanimator. So he carried on and made Stuart Gordon's films a whole, like his Reanimator film, a whole trilogy, which is really cool. Return of the Living Dead 3, I think what else? Wasn't it like Night of the Demons 2 or 3 also. He does some great horror movies. So it's like if I see Brian Yuzna is attached, whether it's a director or, as we were talking about Reanimator, a producer, I will snag that shit up because he is definitely a solid part of the horror genre. And you know that whatever you're going to watch that he's attached to is going to be very, very entertaining. Whether it's like, oh my God, this is a masterpiece. Or, oh my God, that was so much fun. I like laughed, I was grossed out, it was great. And I would totally watch this again. It was so much fucking fun. A popcorn movie. This is a popcorn movie where you're sitting there and you're just like, oh my God, dude, what's gonna happen next? And you're eating your popcorn. Oh, it's so gross, oh my God. This is that movie. This is that fun movie night where it's like, but you gotta be able to tolerate grossness because there's a lot of it. And yeah, I became a fan of this movie after I watched it. I mean, I totally, people were talking about it in some groups I'm on, I was like, dude, I gotta see that. I gotta see that. I gotta see that. I saw screenshots or whatever of the movie and everything, and I was like, they're talking about this, and so I went in blind. I was like, I heard a little bit about it. They're like, oh, the shunt, and I'm like, what's this about? Shunt? Did they misspell hunt? What's going on here? So went in blind, bought the Arrow fucking Blu-ray, and I was not upset with this purchase at all. This was a very, very good movie. Very, very much fun. And even my girlfriend, she doesn't like every movie that I watch. Sometimes she's like, wow, you go ahead and you have fun watching that because that looks like a dud, or it's just something that she's just not into. But she's like, she tolerates the grossness, and she thinks it's a fun movie. Like I said, it's one of those fun popcorn movies where you just like, you're having fun and so gross. It's a fun movie. I wouldn't say it's like a particular date night movie unless you're weirdos. So if you're a weirdo couple and you need a date night movie, watch Society, you fucking freaks. Goddamn freaks. You fucking weirdos, man. Come here in my living room like that, all weird. Can't believe you. But anyway, now it is time to dive into this Arrow release of Society and watch all these special features and get more in depth. And, you know, I'll come back in part 3 and, you know, give you a little overview, you know, about what some of these special features are about. And, like, if you do manage to see the movie on some streaming service, or you pick up a copy, or you just from word of mouth want to see it, watch, like, explaining maybe some more about what it's about will get you into this shit. But I feel like these are going to be very, very fun and informative special features, and probably making this purchase like a much what's the word I'm thinking of? What's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for a word. Make this purchase like even more solid, you know, not just like I got a movie that was really, really cool and I thought it was fun, but like, oh wow, I'm learning more about the movie that's really cool and fun, and getting some like little tidbits because I'm a geek like that. So, all right, Society, fun, fun, fun. I am going to go watch these special features, and I'll be back later to talk about them in part 3. So until then, in part 3, I will be back later. My mustache is pretty cool, huh? Sam Elliott, I'm coming for you, bud. I'm gonna make Sam Elliott's mustache look like Cheech's mustache. Like, oh, it's big mustache, but it's small. I'm going like full over the bottom. But no, I'm not. I'm not going over my chin with my mustache. That'd be weird. All right, back in a bit. Enough rambling. All right, so special feature time. Society. Mother shunter. Yeah. All right, let's talk about these special features on Society. Very, very cool. I had a lot of fun watching them. Like, all the interviews about the different parts, especially like, you know, I swear to God, even though I've seen his name in a bunch of movies, never like looked him up. I don't know why, but I had no idea that Screaming Mad George was Japanese. The name does not say, hey, there's a good chance I'm Japanese. So I was like, whoa, no way. Just something I didn't know, and now I know, which is weird. You think by now, like, I should know something like that, but for some reason, just kind of like never put 2 and 2 together. But the interviews were great. The cast and crew, like, just gave some more info about just little tidbits. Like, the movie's pretty straightforward as far as like from the cast point of view, but just getting their take on it. And it sounds like they had a lot of fun, and so that's cool, you know. And they look back fondly on the movie. Sometimes you, like, especially on the Cannibal Holocaust, like, there's always a lot of, yeah, you know, it was just fucking, we were in the jungle and it sucked. You know, it just sucked a lot. But, like, they had a lot of fun on this, and the interviews with Brian Yuzna and like getting more of a take on some of the ideas in the film, you know, and just where like just different aspects of the film that might make you watch it and look at it in a different way, which is pretty cool. So I definitely recommend, if you're a fan of the movie and maybe you just got like some kind of cheese copy, like definitely pick up the Arrow copy because it's very, very cool. And then watching the music video, Persecution Mania, the Screaming Mad George music video is totally worth it. Like, if nothing else, you will be very entertained by the music video. But also the director commentary was really cool. Like, it's very like, this is a movie that I would definitely like if you're into the movie, you want to know a little more or something, or just whatever. The commentary is very tight. So I enjoyed watching Society, this lovely Arrow copy. Ooh. And the special features were very tight. They were very on point. It had a good deal of them, and it was very immersive and very cool. So I'm very, very happy to watch Society again and hopped into these lovely special features. Next episode, I'm going with a little Visual Vengeance title, Visual Vengeance 3. L.A. AIDS Jabber, aka Jabber. This movie is really good, and it's going to be fun to watch it again and then yap to y'all about it, because this movie is way better than you'd expect. But yeah, I definitely recommend Society if you're getting into horror and you want to like get into some classics. Because I should have seen this movie years ago, and it like, I'm not sure if it ever like came up on my radar, but then I was in a group and a lot of people were talking about it, and I was like, dude, I got to see this because it sounds like a real classic. It sounds fun. And then to find out that Brian Yuzna is connected with it, I was like, I'm totally fucking in, from being a Stuart Gordon dude and seeing other Brian Yuzna films, and I'm like, how could I have seen these other films but not seen his first one? So it was very cool to finally dive deep into this. It really is a classic, and it's a great movie. So yeah, that was Society, and I'll see you on the next episode. So wadata, tippy tie, kappa chow. I'm out, bitches. Until next time. Repeatedly interrupted with me, your host, Pootie Tang. I'm doing movies, and we talk about them. Like Society, we talked about that one.